Trig 4.4 Graphs of the secant and cosecant functions. These are going to be easy if you've gotten used to the sign. Remember how to graph the sign? Let's do one just to make sure. Y equals, we'll say -1 plus 2 sine, and then we'll do another 2 here and x plus pi. What is A? 2, so it's a stretch. C is a -1, so it's moved down. The function f is sine, which looks sort of like the sine curve. Period for the sine is 2 pi. B is 2, so the new period is just pi. And D is pi, but moved to the left. So down and to the left. So it should be like the third quadrant. Let's change colors. Step 1. Normally the sign centered is right here on the x-axis. Now it's down 1. Normally the sign goes from that center, which we should dash in, up 1 and down 1, but now we're going to go up 2 and down 2. Normally it starts, the sine function starts at the y-axis. Now it's going to start pi units to the left. And normally it ends 2 pi units later, but now it's going to end pi units later. So it'll be right on the y-axis where it ends instead of where it starts. Take this, cut it in half, cut it in fourths, and don't do this with a solid pen or pencil. Dash this in. So it's going to start here, go up to the top, back down to the center, to the bottom, and then back to the center. Like I said, let's use dashed lines for this, because what is the reciprocal of the sine? It is the cosecant. So the cosecant is everything except for the sine. The reciprocal, the rest. So now we've got this new center, and what we're going to draw is vertical asymptotes where this curve, the sine curve that we dashed in, crosses the center. This center here. So there's going to be a dashed line here because it'll be an asymptote. There'll be one here. It will be an asymptote, and there'll be one here. It will be an asymptote. And from every peak and every valley, you approach the asymptotes. So that is the cosecant. You're doing everything the same you did before, except it's the rest of the stuff. The only thing where the cosecant and secant are the same are at these peaks and valleys, I guess you'd call them. Let's do another one. So here it is. Y equals 2 plus 1/4 secant 1/2 x minus pi. What is A? 1/4. So it's only going to go up and down the fourth. Gotta make this a little wider this time. C is 2 up, so this is a compression. The function is secant. Now the secant comes from, because it's 1 over the cosine, comes from the cosine. So you draw the cosine. Every place it hits the middle, put in an asymptote, and from every peak and every valley, you approach the asymptotes. So, period, just like the cosine, 2 pi. B is 1/2. So together, when you invert and multiply, you get 4 pi. And D, now it's not pi, remember, we've got to factor out this 1/2. So if we factor out a 1/2, this must have been 2 pi. Or divide by 1/2, you really multiply by 2 over 1. But if you could put that back in, so this D is 2 pi. Be careful of that little, the book does this a lot. So we're up and, oh, this is 2 pi to the right. Up and to the right. Change colors a little bit. So, step 1. We want to go up 2, but remember we're just going a quarter up and down, so I'm going to go up sort of a big 2 here. Maybe put a 3, I guess. So up 2 is where our new center is. From that center, we want to go up a quarter and down a quarter. So this is 2 1/4, and this is 1 3/4. Normally, this starts, because we focus on the cosine, normally starts at 0, but now we're 2 pi to the right. We're going to make this 2 pi just start here. 2 pi to the right, so now we've got this where it starts. Normally it ends 2 pi units later. Now it ends 4 pi. Let's call this 4 pi units later. So this is the 4 pi plus 2 pi. Or this is 6 pi. That's when it ends. Now remember, what you do is you draw the cosine, because this is for the secant. Break this in half, and then these in half. Start it up, go down, serial pole, and you want this to be dashed in. Then, let's change this one more time, change these colors, so you can see it a little better. Let's go with the yellow. So wherever this crosses the center is a vertical asymptote. And from every peak and every valley, you approach the asymptotes. Remember, these have stuff over here and here. We just need one period, and this is how we draw it. It focuses on the cosine and then goes from every peak and every valley. That's the secant. So you really know how to do that one. We're not going to cover section 4.5. Harmonic motion. So this is all there is to chapter 4. You should be able to do the problems at the end of the chapter, except for those that say harmonic motion. So